Hello there, what's up? Carmando here. Welcome to my review of Elimination Chamber. And most people seem to be thinking that this is like the greatest pay-per-view ever, just due to booking. Um, I would disagree. Yeah, sure, some of the booking was good, but match quality-wise, I'd have to disagree. Um, Still, it was alright. There was some decent enough matches. Elimination Chamber was by far the best match, but best review ever? No. And I felt like most of the matches could have easily happened like on SmackDown because, as I've said before, this pay-per-view is unnecessary. But let's get to it anyways. Um, Pre-show, I want to say about Carmella on the pre-show. I thought she was funny. On her phone, like text and stuff. Like she was actually on the panel with like Renee and Booker T and that. And she was there like texting and telling James Ellsworth to pick up dry cleaning or something. I thought she was really funny. And also the social media lounge thing with it was Dasha Fuentes that was doing it. It just seems like she's trying so hard not to like mess up or botch or whatever. 'Cause she's had a few botches in the past. She still sounds okay, but you can just tell that she's trying so hard not to mess up or forget her lines or something. Like you listen to her speaking, and then it switches over to Renee, and it just sounds so natural. Yeah, give her time, she'll get better. I kind of think she should maybe still be NXT, but maybe this is the best way for her to learn. Just sort of throw her in at the deep end, I guess. Um, but the first match was Mojo Rawley versus Kurt Hawkins. Nothing special. Lasted 8 minutes 5 seconds. There was a weird spot where Hawkins was on the outside. He was going to wait, like throw him at the barricade, but then he started spinning him around, and then he eventually threw him into the apron. I was like, what the hell's going on? It was random as hell. Eventually, Hawkins hit like a spinal tap or a spinal. What do you call it? Spinal trauma? I don't know. It's like a reverse rock bottom. He did that thing. I thought that he was going to win, but he didn't. Rawley eventually comes back, does his comeback, delivers a big right hand thing in the corner, and then it's like this spinning tilt world slam in one. The crowd was actually into it. I was kind of surprised. They were actually quite into Mojo winning. They were cheering him. Yeah, for the pre-show it was an alright match, I guess. Nothing more to say. Oh well, JBL fell down making his entrance. That was pretty funny. Dave Rotunga and Booker T were giving him some slack for it. It was funny. He fell down making his entrance. Like he tripped doing his, I don't know what they call it, that weird two-step thing that he does. He tripped, and the cameraman and all that were trying to save him and just laughing their asses off. It was pretty funny. And then on to the first match of the show, Becky versus Mickey James, which Becky actually won. I was kind of surprised. I wasn't expecting that. 11 minutes 40. Most of the match was just Mickey working over the arm of Becky. Makes sort of sense story-wise for Mickey not to want to get the disarmor on her, so take away the arms. She can't do the disarmor, it's a good story that way. And it was an alright match, decent enough match. There was a good spot where like Becky like flew off the apron to the outside onto Mickey. I thought that was kind of cool. Mickey hit her Hurricane Rana thing that she does. Eventually ended. It wasn't an amazing match or anything. It was a decent enough match, but she hit her Mick kick thing, goes for the cover, but Becky kicked out. She goes for a DDT, but Becky counters with a back body drop, and Mickey sold it as though she was like in absolute agony. I thought that was kind of odd. Maybe she did just land weird. I don't know. She looked like she was in a lot of pain. She goes to the disarmor thingy. Mickey counters, but that with a roll up, and then Becky countered with a really nice roll up into like the jackknife. Like it just looked perfect. It looked amazing, and she got the win. I did really think that the counter there was great. Becky won. Alright match. And also James Ellsworth and that were in the skybox thing, and Dasha was going in and asking for their thoughts, and Carmella would say something, and Ellsworth would just like be a bit of a douche and just agree with her. It was kind of funny. Then we want the 2-on-1 handicap match, which saw Kalisto and Apollo Crews win, defeating Dolph 7 minutes 20. I thought it started off kind of good. I wasn't really sure how they were going to go about this, but Ziggler attacked Kalisto on the stage. Like he threw him into the LED light things, and some of the actual lights actually came off. I was like, holy shit. But yeah, the actual match was pretty shit, to be honest. It was just wrestlers for most of the time. Eventually, sort of Cruz made his comeback and all. Bloody Kalisto limps all the way down, holding his back, then makes a hot tag and he can fly about and do all these moves, you know. I was like, that doesn't really seem very believable. He's coming down, he can barely walk, and now all of a sudden he's hitting all these moves. Weird. Eventually it ends with Kalisto kicking him or something. And then Cruz hits the set out powerbomb and wins. I can't really remember. It's a long ass time ago. Apollo Crews in that one. After the match, Ziggler attacks Kalisto, slams him in the apron, stomping on him. Gets the steel chair again because that's his favourite weapon. I told you he was going to rape him with the chair. He did. And he put the foot in the chair on Cruz, stomped on it twice, and the crowd was chanting, "Thank you, Ziggler. This guy's a heel." I mean, it makes sense because they're not really doing anything with Ziggler. They're not doing anything with the other guys. They're just glad to be getting something somewhat entertaining. So, can you really blame them? No. Moving on, tag team title match, the turmoil thing. It was alright, you know, it was okay. I liked it at the end when Ascension got in, because I actually thought they were going to win it. Unfortunately, they didn't. It did last quite long as well. It was 21 minutes 10 seconds. The two peoples to start was Heath Slater and Rhino, and Breezango. And Breezango were looking badass in their white gear. I thought they looked really cool. Unfortunately, Breezango got eliminated. Not their time yet. One day I'm hoping they'll become tag champs. Rhino takes Breeze down, but Fandango tosses him to the floor. Slater tags in Rhino and he hits the gore on Fandango. Yeah, I suppose that's how it went down. I don't really remember. And the Vaudevillains was next. They didn't really get to do much. Rhino gores Gotch, and then Slater hits English with the Impaler DDT, or the Glorious DDT, or the Execution, whatever you want to call it. After this, the Usos are in. Like the Usos, they come in looking all badass and that, and then they don't actually do anything really badass. Like they look cool and that, this new look, but then they don't really actually do anything. It kind of sucks. I did like the pop-up Samoan drop that they did. I think that's actually how they won. And it says Jimmy tags in and kicks Slater in the face and gets the win. Okay, guess that's how it happened. American Alpha was next. They started their match on the ramp. Like they were attacking each other then. As for it did last a bit longer than the others, but as for, I don't really remember anything that happened. Says Jordan takes Jimmy down with a belly to belly, gives one to Jay. So they pick him up, tag him in, and I liked Gable's roll up. I think this is when he did that like cool Oklahoma roll thing or whatever, like the backwards reversing roll. I thought it looked pretty cool. Then after the match, Usos went wild and beat the shit out of them. Now at this point, it looked like the Ascension was going to win. They come out, they hit the Fallen Man on Jordan, but Gable manages to break it up. They're doing some other moves and beating them up and what have you. Jordan comes back with a belly to belly, and Gable tags in, and they hit the Grand Amplitude and got the win. I really did think the Ascension was going to win, and you could see some people in the crowd as well. They were thinking it. That guy that always has the Resurrect Ascension sign was there. He wasn't too happy, and that was it. American Alpha won. I'm still just disappointed that we are not seeing the amazing matches from American Alpha that we saw in NXT, because that's what got them over. Still yet to see it. Like I still remember, like probably one of the best tag matches I've ever seen with American Alpha versus DIY from like a year and a half ago, maybe longer. I can't even remember. It was a bit after the first Dusty Classic thing, and it was an amazing match. One of the best matches I've ever seen, and we haven't even seen anything close to that from them. It's sad, and people are like, oh, they're boring, oh, they suck. They've never gotten to do what made them popular and what would get them over. Same goes for Ascension, Vaudevillains, everybody. Moving on, Nikki and Natalia the next match, and it ended in a double countout. It was 30 minutes 40. Most of the match was just Natalia doing the "you can't see me" thing to Nikki, and screaming at the crowd, "Do you like Nikki?" or some shit. But then I don't know, it's random as fuck. As for the match, there wasn't really much to say about it. Nikki hit a cool clothesline from the apron to the outside. I don't know, there's not really much else. Just flicking through this here. Nikki got a nice spine burst at one point. I like this fearless lock thing that she does. That's what Morrow was calling it. It's kind of like the STF, but it looks like it actually hurts the person instead of just, not like Cena's one. Eventually they end up on the outside, gets slammed into the barricade. Nikki sort of comes back and slams Natalia, and she goes to go into the ring, but then Natalia pulls her out, and then they get countered out. And they're like, Natalia's looking to leave, but then Nikki comes out of nowhere and hits this epic spear on the ramp. That was the highlight of the match. And then that was kind of it. Natalia just ran away after that. Not really much to say about that match. It seemed like something that could have happened on SmackDown. Not much after that. There was an Orton and Wyatt promo. Nothing really to say there. And it was on to Luke Harper and Randy Orton. Now the first half of this match was pish. It really was. I didn't like it, and it lasted 17 minutes 15. It wasn't good. It was very slow. But it did. The second half was good. I'll say that. The second half was really good. And Orton slammed Harper in the announce table and took out the German dudes. That was pretty funny. And then later on, Harper did it to Orton and had his Tope Suicida thing. Orton not a full Nelson Slam. That was kind of weird. I think he did that on SmackDown as well. I thought that was just it's a move you usually see like jobbers hit as their finisher, like Jinder Mahal or what have you. Harper had a couple super kicks at one point and goes for the pin, but he kicked out. He had his set out powerbomb, which is always sexy to see. He kicked out, and they're exchanging right hands to their knees. Eventually Harper goes for the discus clothesline. Orton countered it like that, with his hands, and then got the RKO and won. Like I said, the second half of the match was pretty good, but the first half was quite boring. But I feel like Harper would have been great at taking the stunner, because that's kind of how he takes the RKO. He lands on his knees and then takes it. I feel he would have been a great seller of the stunner back in the day. After this, there's a thing with Renee and Nikki, and they're doing an interview, and then Natalia attacks her, and it looks like this is how they're setting up the whole Cena and Nikki versus Miz Maurice, because Natalia threw Nikki, and she ended up at Maurice, and she had makeup powder or some pish, and it went everywhere. I thought she was actually going to attack her there and then, but she didn't. Eventually the referees pull them apart, but that looks like how they're setting that whole deal up. And with Cena eliminating Miz, so I imagine that's how they'll go about setting that up. That'll be the story for getting that match together for WrestleMania. Seems kind of a waste really for Cena in a match like that, but okay. Next we have Naomi defeating Alexa Bliss. Surprisingly, I didn't think this was going to happen. 8 minutes 20 for the Women's Championship. I was quite surprised that happened. Even when I think about it, back when we're making their introductions and that, Naomi looked very happy and Alexa looked kind of sad and angry. So maybe they could tell, or they obviously knew what was going to happen, and they were kind of showing it. But some good stuff, but there's also some botching as well. It's happened a few times with these two, where Naomi will hit her moonsault or whatever, and Alexa's supposed to roll out the way, but she doesn't. But then she gets hit with it, but she doesn't sell it and just comes back. That's happened kind of a few times. It's happened a few times now. But Naomi had a cool blockbuster neckbreaker at one point, and that was pretty sweet. She hit the rear view and went for the pin, but she kicked out. She did her handspring double knees thing, Alexa Bliss. She goes for her Twisted Bliss thing. Oh, this was the first time she got, and then eventually she got hit the DDT on Naomi, which she's won a few matches with that, but Naomi kicked out. Naomi with double feet to the face and goes for the Springford Moonsault. I don't remember that. Alexa eventually does some weird roll-up thing with her feet on the ropes, but the ref sees it. Alexa eventually goes to the Twisted Bliss, but I think this is when she hit the knees. She put her knees up and hit her, and then goes for the springboard moonsault. And the way she hit it, like her legs nailed Alexa Bliss in the stomach. Looked pretty nasty. Or ribs, because apparently your ribs are down at your stomach. WWE like to insult the old intelligence. And eventually Naomi won. I honestly was surprised I didn't see that happening. And then after that they had like an interview thing with her, and she was sort of crying a little bit because they were chanting "You deserve it." But loads of people are going nuts about this. There's like so many hardcore like Alexa Bliss fans. They were all sort of going nuts on Twitter and what have you, and on YouTube. I think the hashtag was like "Not My Champion" or some shit. People going nuts about that. But anyways, on to the next thing. It was an alright little match. I would say it was the best women's match out of the lot. I just didn't really feel anything about all the matches really. They're just nothing special, nothing great, nothing amazing, nothing memorable. It's kind of really the entire show really. I mean, apart from maybe the second half of the Harper Orton match and the Chamber match, just a kind of a basic show to be honest. But anyways, on to the Elimination Chamber match. It lasted 34 minutes 20, and they said it was 5 minutes in between things, and I was sort of trying to time it by looking at the time, and it did seem to go with 5 minutes, but it didn't feel like 5 minutes in between each thing. But maybe it was, I don't know. I wasn't timing it to perfection. I was just sort of looking at the clock. But it didn't seem like 5 minutes, but going by the time it was, so I don't know. But Cena and Styles surprisingly started it, and they did some of their moves that they do, like Cena with his Code Red or their Sunset Flip Powerbomb, which always looks nasty, because that's always a move where their head is hitting the thing. And also, before we even get into it, the Bloody Chamber, some people liked it, some people didn't. I'm in the part that didn't like it. It looks stupid. The square pods just look stupid. The entire thing sort of like square or like hexagonal. But the square pods it just doesn't look right. It looked better when it was curved, or they could have had it like as a triangle. That would have looked at least a little better. But the square I don't think looks good at all. And then the bloody I would say at least an inch, maybe more thick padding around all the steel. I mean, yeah, I get it. They want to be safer for the guys so they can do spots. Like half the spots they did would never have happened on the if there was no padding there. Like Dean Ambrose jumping off the top of the pod, Cena falling from halfway of the chamber. And whatever other spots happened would never have happened if there was none of that padding. Sure, they can do cool spots, but the crowd obviously couldn't see it and were reacting as if it was actually steel. But as soon as this stuff happened, there was no sound effects. Like when I seen it, and when I could see like the wooden boards underneath when it was dangling up above, I thought, okay, what's going on here? And then when I seen the thick padding, I was like, are they going to put sound effects in? You know, because when they do kicks and stuff, when they slap the legs to make the sound effects, so people think that it's actually hurting. I thought that was going to happen, but they didn't. It takes away from it, you know. Yeah, it's great that they're looking out for each other's health, but I mean that was kind of the whole deal of the chamber, is that it's going to hurt, but I don't know. I get it. You know, they want to save them from getting injured, but at the same time, it's just like it's kind of a waste of time with the chamber if you're not gonna, have it be brutal, Um, it's a two-way thing, but I don't like the square pod. I think that's stupid. It just doesn't look right. And for when they throw them into it, like Dean Ambrose got thrown into it at one point by Corbin. It just isn't right. If it was like a triangle or if it was a circle like before, or a half circle, it would be okay, but I don't like the look of it. But for them climbing about on it and getting up on top and that, I thought that was kind of cool. And Dean Ambrose and AJ were fighting on top of it, and they were smashing each other into the glass. Well, glass. The plastic or whatever, and AJ was actually getting legit slammed off of it. He actually had like marks on his face afterwards. I seen it because I was like, wonder what that is, and I was like, oh, it's probably when he got smashed off the thing. But yeah, Dean Ambrose was the third guy in. Nothing really. Oh, the double German suplex thing. Cena did the double German to them. That was kind of cool. And then Wyatt was in. That's when they were up on top of the thing. That's when they did all the on top of the pod thing fighting. That's when that sort of happened. Styles comes back and goes after Wyatt, but Ambrose pulls Wyatt down and Styles flies across the ring as well. I don't really remember what that was about. Baron Corbin's in after this. Yeah, his deep six. Nothing really else I don't think happened with him. He says he hit Bray Wyatt with a modified STO. Suppose he did. He hit Styles with the end of days. Cena puts Corbin in the STF. He gets out of it. It's Cena with the end of days. Ambrose hits a missile drop kick. Nothing else really happened. Eventually Ambrose counters him and hits a dirty deeds, and I think that's how he eliminated Corbin, was it? No? Corbin counters and slams Ambrose face first into the cell wall again. Oh yeah, then Miz is supposed to come in. He's sort of scared. He's like shitting himself to face Corbin, but then Dean Ambrose comes out of nowhere and pinned him. That's right. I've got a horrible memory and I'm tired as hell. And we had bloody Talking Smack to watch as well, so it was a while ago when I got this watched. After this, Corbin goes nuts and beats the shit out of Ambrose. Hits the end of days, then Miz pinned him to eliminate Ambrose. So I guess they're setting up Corbin versus Ambrose for the IC title, and I'd assume Corbin would win. It would make sense. After this, Miz is doing the yes kicks to Cena and Wyatt, and then the drop kicks. He hits the skull cushion finale on Wyatt on the outside. I don't remember this. He goes to the crossbody, Cena catches him, hits the AA, and he's out. I don't remember that the skull cushion finale thing, but okay. Styles Clash. I mean, it was alright. It was okay. Some people were saying it was like the greatest chamber match ever. I was like, nah. Even ones from like 5 to 10 years ago and before that was a lot better. No way it was the greatest one ever in my opinion. Like, it was okay, but not greatest ever. Cena went on top of the pod and hit like a cross body on Styles and Wyatt. That was kind of cool. And then out of fucking nowhere, Cena was going for the AAA. Wyatt counters and hit Sister Abigail and eliminated Cena. I was like, holy shit. Like, I mean, yeah, most people were predicting Cena to lose and Wyatt to win. I was still kind of surprised. Like, I didn't think it was actually going to happen. So I was kind of shocked by that. Some people were like, oh, well, that's predictable. I was still kind of shocked by it. As for the whole Wyatt and Styles, Styles got the Pele kick. Then he got some running knee thing. Springboard 450. Wyatt kicks out 2. He goes for the phenomenal forearm, but Wyatt catches him. Boom, Sister Abigail, and winner, a new WWE champion, Bray Wyatt. And he points to the sign. Randy Orton comes out on the stage and sort of stares down Wyatt as Wyatt laughs, and that's sort of the end of the show. I was, like I said, I don't think it was really worth a pay-per-view, to be honest. It didn't seem like there was any pay-per-view worthy matches outside of the chamber match. Maybe Orton, Harper, but the rest, I don't think so. I mean, these guys are capable of more, but they're just not allowed to. You know, like Ziggler and the Cruz match are just rastholds. Just fucking rastholds. That's shit. That's shit. I mean, Becky and Mickey was alright. Nikki and Natalia, Naomi, Alexa, but it could be so much better. Like, they're capable of much better. In the tag match as well. Just capable of so much better, but they're not allowed to. And that just sucks, you know, it really sucks. But there you go, that's my review. I was kind of hoping to go a bit quicker than this. I wanted to try and maybe take notes and make this thing quicker, but I don't know. I don't know really how to make it quicker. But there you have it. That's my review. Thanks for watching. I don't think there's any news or that to talk about. There was a thing saying Bray Wyatt was the favourite to win the chamber. I think many people knew that already anyways. Yeah, there's not any more news. No more wrestling news. Let's see. Nope, nothing. And Togan's Mac was alright as well. You know, it's always a decent enough show. Daniel Bryan was kind of being bit savage. I think must have been getting screamed at by Vince and Kevin Dunn or something, because he took his thingies out, because he's like, oh, I can't put up with this noise in my ears, because I think he said before that happened, he was like, oh, who knows what will happen at WrestleMania, things change all the time, things could change 30 minutes before the show starts or something. He said that a couple of times actually, so maybe he was getting a little bit screamed at by Vince and Dunn, and he eventually just took them out, so I guess they were going nuts at him. But there you have it. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. And tell me how I can make these shorter, because I feel like I'm going to get through it quickly, but I never fucking do. I mean, 27 minutes is a long time to talk. I feel like I'm getting through it quick, but clearly I'm not. I don't know where I'm going wrong. But that's it. See ya.